What do you mean you don't like commitment?
I don't want to never say never.
First off, this is a much bigger issue. Second off, this is the video we're filming.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever have to classify something as never going away.
Okay, well, that puts me in a very uncomfortable position. Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. We're doing 10 games we're never getting rid of.
No, 10 games that are most likely probably not leaving our collection within the near future.
Of this video.
I think that is a much catchier title.
I came downstairs, inspired by Board Game Co. and Monique and Naveen over at Before You Play. They have a video about games that they regret leaving their collection, that are never leaving their collection. I was like, that seems like a fun video to do. We've got some of those that are just evergreens. And along with that, we've been working through our entire collection. We have a Shelf or Sell series.
Yes, however, we don't have all of the games that I want to never leave my collection.
Sure.
So it puts me in a bind.
You're able to get more than 10 games that are never leaving your collection.
Oh, I plan on it. That's why we have 5 Calyxes.
That is true. That is true. Hey, if you're brand new here watching the first time, we're going to break down 10 games that we as a team, as a couple, have agreed are never leaving our collection.
Most probably not really in the near future going anywhere.
Along with that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out our series called Shelf or Sell, where we start breaking down every collection, making hard decisions about what's staying, what's going, putting some of the games up to a vote, which
I win most of the votes around here.
It has not gone well for me so far.
He's not the crowd's favorite.
But it's a series we're having a lot of fun doing, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. That being said,
let's get started.
Let's go ahead and start swinging into...
You have an honorable mention, which I don't know what you're talking about.
I do have an honorable mention. Let's save the honorable mention for the very end.
Fine.
Let's dive right into what this series is. Now, as we pull these games out...
I'm like, should I start?
Let's talk about why we have them here. Because they're not our top 10 list. They're not necessarily our favorite games of all time. They're just games that have no permission to leave.
Some of these are my favorite games of all time.
Except for Aquatica, which is in her top 10 list.
This is yes. I mean, I have not put together my top 10 list, but this game is fantastic. This game has a unique system with a bunch of different game end triggers, but you are trying to get the most points. And there's lots of different ways. There's a deep water expansion, deep water, cold water.
I think it's deep water.
Deep water, something water expansion, which is lovely, and we've just incorporated it, and you really should never play without it. The artwork is fantastic. The color scheme is top-notch. Blue's my favorite color. And then also, just the concept of you have a hand of cards, and those are your actions, and you can get more cards, more characters that you can play to do more action. You're getting a bunch of different other location cards that you're going to be sliding up on your board and then scoring points and coins to get more cards to go for these different endgame objectives that are on the top of the board. There's 2 different ways. Some are variable and some are set with the original version. And yeah, that's Aquatica. And it is a fantastic game that can get really mean and deep. And it can also go really quickly because people can push endgame. Once they realize they have a good system going, they're like, hey, we have all the things we need to score. Let's just go blow through these decks. Because as soon as certain decks run out, that's endgame.
Yeah. Also, I love it because it's bright blue and it looks fantastic on the shelf. This is it's a combination of hand management, card drafting, and tableau building, where you're able to start cycling and sequencing different actions. You play a card, you slide 2 tiles up, you grab something from the deck, you refresh your hand, and so on and so forth. It really is a lovely game. It's not in my top 10, but it is strongly in theirs, and we both like it quite a lot. So, it is locking into the famed position of 10 games we're never getting rid of.
It's your turn now.
Swinging down. Oh, by the way, and if you enjoy this series, my thought process is something along these lines, Shira.
Yes.
We come back about a year from now, around the same timeline.
Yeah, that's a long way away.
And
that's a lot of commitment there.
And we do a 2022 version of this video with 10 new games that we have added permanently to our collection.
Okay.
And we take a look back at what these games...
And what we've said is never leaving our collection, but
we just keep escalating. We just keep escalating, because as far as I know, there's a strong chance that myself and a few of these games
we're going to be in trouble
will be leaving this collection.
In 50 years... We'll have 500 games never leaving our collection.
That, or your prediction will come true, and we'll have a pile of games which have left.
All right.
So, it'll be interesting either way. A game that everyone probably expects to see on this list, but remember, this isn't a list all about me, it's a list about us. And Root is still standing here strong.
It is. I actually really like the asymmetric factions. I like how each game never feels the same, depending on what factions you bring to the board, whether you're going for the huge warfaring factions, or whether you're going for the Vagabond and the Woodland Alliance and all these other factions. The game never feels the same. And depending on
that is actually the official term in the rulebook. I was
trying to say flavor and player count.
Depending on the flabla.
Depending on the player count that you have at the table, it can get a really different feel. You can also have people who are going for the weird win condition that comes up with the card. Yeah. That you just take your point marker off the track. And we got really close with a really recent gameplay. I don't know if you know this story. Alex told me about Root, like a year or so ago, and he said, Root is a fantastic game. And I got rid of it because I never had a consistent enough player group. I was like, okay. And he started describing it. He said it's similar to some of the other games that I like Chaos in the Old World, some of these other area control.
Chaotic area control.
Yeah. And I was like, cool. Well, don't we have a consistent player group now during COVID when we have 4 people who aren't going anywhere that are only allowed in the house? He's like, yeah. So he brought it back, and we started diving into it before even Jesse came into the picture, and I really liked it. And I would ask for it time and time again, till our game group got sick of it and would actually not show up to game night because I was asking to play it. And now then you came along, and you're like, hey, Root's a fantastic game. And I'm like, score, it's staying.
So the solution to this is going to be us working to learn the automata factions and figuring out how to make this a game that actually functions and plays good at 2 players. It's one of the puzzles we're going to be solving soon here on the channel. So Root.
You can put it on your side.
Add it over to my side. I mean, even though it seems like we're on the same page.
For glory. We recently covered...
This should also be open, by the way.
It should be open. It might look like we haven't played this. We have. Alex has a copy that I have played numerous times.
We actually didn't have this copy in time for the expansion coverage, which was just about a month ago, maybe a little bit less. We borrowed Alex's copy, had it here for a couple weeks, as we were purchasing and waiting on our own to arrive. So we just haven't popped the seal yet because it's been a chaotic move.
This game is fantastic, and I like it most at a 2-player, head-to-head, gladiatorial combat game. It is a fantastic deck builder. You have got an amazing market. You are fighting head-to-head in different arenas with the gladiators that you are sponsoring with your sponsors, and you are trying to take down your opponent and be the last gladiator standing alive and get the honor and the glory involved in each of the fights. The new expansion adds a 3-player and a 4-player variant, and I'm not sure how I'm going to like it at the higher player counts because I really love the meanness and the punchiness.
Also adds a solo mode, which I enjoyed quite a lot.
You did? Mm-hmm. I haven't had a chance to get to the solo mode. Something that's coming up is that I'm going to hopefully start diving into some solo games you've mentioned, and so... lost my train of thought, but this game is awesome at the 2-player mode that I really like.
Yeah, that's really the crux of this one for us. Fantastic game.
I was about to say, it falls into like the area of Super Fantasy Brawl, 2-player head-to-head skirmish game. It falls into almost a little bit of Dice Throne, except a little bit deeper.
A little bit crunchier.
I like that 2-player.
This is a couples game for us.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it 3. I might play it 4-player. We'll see how that works. But for us, this is just, I love deck building. I love the theme. I really, really love the artwork, the aesthetic, and the way the mechanics work together. I know Alex has some criticisms around the iteration and the re-implementation of it. But I don't mind that if I'm always playing with the same person, because we adapt to each other's strategies, and that's what this is for us. It's a Grail game that's on our shelf for us. Cool. Swinging down...
to your number 1 game of all time, Bust.
Why are you saying it sarcastically? You just got the chance to play it.
I actually did get a chance to play it this week, and it is a very lovely game. I don't think it deserves to be in his number 1 spot.
Get out of here.
But
it's my number 1.
I think it is a fantastic game. It's got a lot of depth to it. You are making bustards around a city, and you're in competition for the passengers with your other players. And you have a time round where players are going from home to work to the bar, because everyone has to end their day at the bar before going home. And you know the workers' schedule, and you're trying to create this ultimate bus route that will take all the passengers on your route to those various locations. And you can only... lots of unique things. I liked it. I liked how your actions are so limited.
They matter so much.
And you have to be so precise with what you do. Whether you're building routes that the little tracks, whether you're building tracks, whether you're adding a bus to your route, whether you are going vroom and actually bringing the passengers, and what order you do that in, because you are going around, whether you take first player, because certain points, it really stinks being third. Like, when there's not enough actions for you, being third and fourth really stink. This was fantastic.
It's one of the most elegant games I've ever played. Every decision, like you said, matters, and you're engaged the entire time people are playing around the table. This is going to be my go-to. We played it at, 4?
Yeah.
4, 5 players? I mean, I can't think of a game I might rather get down to a table for about an hour-long game experience, especially once everyone knows it.
I think it might be a little longer than that. Hour and a half.
Hour and a half, maybe, but once everyone knows it, we can push a little bit more. I mean, AP is a possibility. Either way, our play re-implemented Y. I have no apologies for where this is on my list. It's an incredible title.
I want to get some of the other Splatter games to the table.
Yeah.
I know there's Food Chain Magnet, which is on the list. I know there's Roads and Boats?
Roads and Boats, yep.
So
there's a lot. There's a lot that we want to get.
Alright. One game that is in my top 10. See, most of these games are pretty close to my top 10 of all-time games. This is Terraforming Mars. This game does every mechanic the best. Drafting, tableau building, hand management, everything. This game is area control. This game is so deep. And granted, it is not great at higher player counts because it gets to be so long, but
3 edging on 4.
No, never at 4. 2 and 3. 2 and 3 is where it is solid, and 1, because it has a really fantastic solo mode. That is probably the first solo game I'm going to dive into because it has such a strong place in my heart. The art I like. I know some people have criticism about it.
I've grown fond of it.
But this game, I cannot speak high enough about it. If ever I'm given a chance to play any game, I would go for Terraforming Mars.
And if we had made this list 6 months ago, it would have been one I would have pushed back against. It hasn't been a favorite of mine.
And then I would set fire to your whole pile.
And then I started playing it more because Alex, Shira, Akiva, we have a group that really loves this game, and I've agreed to dive in, and man, has it grown on me.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable. Okay. Next one for me.
You just played with bad player groups. That's the problem.
Let's bring over
Cthulhu Death May Die.
This is another one that isn't opened yet, and it's because we're waiting to do a full unboxing.
Yeah.
We just got our hands on a Kickstarter pledge of this, which I know it's a little bit late to have your hands on a Kickstarter pledge, but we'd actually been waiting, watching, and working for it. Alex has a copy. We've played his copy multiple times. I've played a copy down in Kentucky multiple times. We came together in this union, already loving this title.
This is a fantastic title. I mean, the next thing we're working towards is the huge Cthulhu mini, honestly.
Yeah, it's the one part we don't have.
Yes, and apparently it's very pricey on eBay, which is why we put a pause on getting it. But this is, the minis, the concept of going insane, your actions, the different characters. I mean, there are so many different characters you can play as, the different scenarios that you're going through, and the dice rolling. It is a fantastic dungeon crawler.
It's a dungeon crawl.
Yeah, it's a fantastic dungeon crawl. Probably one of my favorites. I don't know anything that compares to this in terms of dungeon crawling for me.
Incredible thematics, beautiful artwork, really fun, crunchy gameplay. And the decisions you make with your characters and how they progress and grow always feels new to me. It always feels unique.
And I don't know if you've heard of Alex's hypothesis about the upcoming Simon
50th
campaign.
We will know before this video comes out.
I know. I hope there's
his hypothesis is right.
That the huge Galactus is a bridge between all of the games.
I'm curious.
That would be fantastic. I would be so excited. But in the meantime, I want to go through a whole campaign with Jesse, just going through every scenario.
That's our plan. And we'll either do it over on the Patreon or we'll do it here on YouTube, depending on how many people are engaged in it. But this is one we intend to play all the way through, but also stands up so well as an individual just run.
Yeah.
And so there's no need to get rid of it after we're done with the campaign. We're still going to love it, still going to want to pull it off, and we have a Kickstarter copy, finally, officially, so there's no way we're getting rid of it, because it's really hard to find.
Yes.
So.
Alright. Oh my goodness. These games are heavy as they get to the bottom.
What are you getting next?
Cerebria.
Ooh, by Mind Clash.
So, this game is also the Kickstarter exclusive.
It is.
This is probably the first really heavy game we played together that I taught you. Mm-hmm. This game holds
She read the whole rule
much
book.
Sentimental value. I'm so worried. I'm holding the box together because I don't want all the pieces to fall apart. Maybe that, yeah. So, We also have the painted minis. Did you put the minis back in the box?
They're not back in the box.
That's why the box is so...
There we go.
It's so tenuous.
We did a deluxification video with them.
This game is just magnificent. I love the theme. Mental health is something that I have a lot of personal connection to. And so a game that is all about the two sides of your mind, basically. The positive side, which Jesse embodies a lot more than me, and the negative side that I embody a lot more than Jesse.
We each have our days.
We do, but we take turns a lot more on that scheme of things. A game that actually personified that, where Jesse could choose to be the bubbly little bee, and I could be the, like, Grinch with holding an axe. It was fantastic. And it's also insanely deep and a really complex, enjoyable play. They also have a short, smaller card game that was also fantastic. It really gave you a touch of the theme, some of the punchiness in, like, a third of the amount of time, and an eighth of the complexity. That rule book was so much easier. So... this is just, from a sentimental standpoint and from a really good play standpoint. Honestly, I think I compare this with your bus.
What is the play?
The play?
We haven't gone through what the game actually is yet.
Oh, it's just amazing. That's what it is.
Perfect.
You have 5 different locations on your board, and you are trying to build this stream of this consciousness in the middle. You are going to be putting pieces of the tower and slowly capping it with the cap. And the person who has the most of their colored pieces, either blue for the gloomy side and orange for the happy side, in that tower wins. And so you go to different locations on the board using your different hands of cards, and tableau building, hand management, that sort of thing. Yeah,
it really was fantastic. I played this first at 4-player, and I hated it. But I kept it because I wanted to like it. And then you got it out, you said, I love the theme, I love the art aesthetic, and I was like, it's a hard game, and I haven't enjoyed it. And you're like, let me give it a shot. So she read the rule book, broke it down, taught me. We played it head-to-head 2-player.
We have not brought the expansion, the Forces of Balance in, which I'm curious about. We have to get this back to the table. It's been too long.
Yeah, this is one that we're really enjoying as a couples game, and not only the combination of it being a heavy, crunchy game that we both enjoy, but also the thematics tied to the Kickstarter exclusivity of the title that I have here. A lot of things go together to make this one that it's not going to leave the collection. Yeah. It's going to stay on the shelf. Now, there may be a time where we're not playing it all the time, because it is harder to get to the table.
Yeah.
But I think sometime soon we need to get a gameplay actually up and running. It's one of the most underrated Mind Clash games that's came out.
Yeah, because I think you told me that everyone thought it was going to be a lot simpler than it was.
I'm not sure.
I think that was what you mentioned.
I'm not sure. Go ahead and set that more down to the side, because you are going to block the light from your face, and there's at least 3 people that enjoy staring at you more than me. Hi, Riha. Let's see here. I am bringing out Spirit Island.
You only chose this because you started deluxifying it, and so you can't go back.
No, I started deluxifying it because it's an incredible game. Fantastic solo, fantastic cooperative. Have you played this much?
I have. I haven't played it much, but I have played it.
Yeah. We haven't started diving together, and I started deluxifying my copy so that you and I could start digging into it.
I don't see the charm that everyone else sees about it. I know it has a huge community, and I know I have to play it a lot more.
Yeah.
But it's fine if you want to keep it forever.
For me,
whatever.
I literally just ordered, they just came back in stock, the Season 1, Season 2 promo pack for Spirit Island. I just got my hands on them because they've been sold out forever.
Yeah.
We are going to have a full deluxified copy, a deluxification video coming out soon. Along with that, we're going to start diving through strategy guides for the spirits, doing gameplay. We've got a lot of plans around this. And it's because it is such a remarkable puzzle. You're facing off against a invading tribe of humans as an island of spirits.
You're actually playing as a spirit against the invaders, which is a twist usually.
It's a twist on that sort of colonization theme. And so you are destroying fortresses, spreading your powers and abilities, lighting fires, causing floods, all the earthenware things that you might expect spirits or things that you would attribute to spirits to do.
With the help of the natives who are actually in the island.
The Dahan do a little bit. They don't have as much agency as you do. But yeah, it's such an engaging cooperative game. It's my solo game for this list. It really is a really fascinating puzzle. And yeah, I think a lot of people that like cooperative games would find this puzzle something they could go back to consistently. And with the amount of expansions we have, the amount of characters we have to play that all feel different at all different player counts, this is one that I don't think I'll exhaust after 100 plays, which is not something that I can say about a lot of games.
Yeah.
So, off to the side, and your number...
This is just a placeholder. Oh!
Just a placeholder.
This is a placeholder because... So this is Zombicide Invader. I have not made a determination about which version of Zombicide.
You've played every version so far?
I have played every version. No, technically. So Green Horde, Alex incorporates a lot into Black Plague.
Sure.
I've played Black Plague the most. I've played Season 2 as well. I played Undead or Alive. Mm-hmm. I have played now Invader. The only one I haven't played is the newest one that is not available
Marvel.
To be played.
And we have, downstairs we have like Night of the Living Dead and a few of the other more fan servicey, straight to retail editions of the game as well.
Okay.
And so those are ones that we might open up and go into, but honestly, Black Plague is your grail spot because it's the hardest one.
It's the hardest one, and it's the one that challenges me the most. Till this day, I had not won, until we got out Invader, I had not won a single game of Zombicide because Alex insisted on making it so hard. And so, but that also made me want to keep coming back to it, made me want to keep diving into it, just chucking those dice, seeing the different weapons that you can find, seeing the different abominations. The abominations have so much personality to them. There's like rat ones, and then there's spiders, and there's just so many different ones, and they each act in a way. I like some of the things that Invader did, surprisingly enough, a lot more than Black Plague, and I like the feel of it, but Black Plague is just so much more complex. And so I have high hopes for the new one, that Marvel will be the best of the best, that it'll incorporate the fact that...
We have a full pledge of the Western coming in as well.
Yeah. I'm hoping that either the Western theme isn't my theme.
Oh, but it's mine.
I know. And
Marvel's a sweet spot for us.
I'm hoping that Marvel will take into the feedback that we want something that can be at various levels of complexity to allow the people who actually want to dive in deep play it, because that was my complaint with the season 2 that just came out, the one with the DC and all of the really modern one. It had a campaign element, which was really intriguing, but as we leveled up, we realized we couldn't level up too much. We had to keep going back down to ground zero, otherwise we were just too strong for whatever scenario we were facing. And that was just really frustrating because I actually liked the modern version, and I was able to make a lot more connections. I loved the characters. I loved that all the walkers all had different personalities and all had different rule sets. And if you took one out, and there was one that was carrying like a clown, and there was another one that was a cheerleader, and they all had different personalities. Oh, there's so much with this game. So much.
So, needless to say, we will always have a copy.
Yes, we will always have a copy of Zombicide. I am not sure which version we will always have, but there will always be a version of Zombicide on our shelves, and right now this is our placeholder.
Yeah, right now we're leaning towards Invader being that one. We are. No, for right now.
For this
today, right now.
For these 5 seconds, Invader can be the one.
We're leaning towards Invader being the one. As Marvel comes out, we're gonna be making a judgment call. As Undead or Alive comes out, we're gonna be making a judgment call. As I think it's like the second wave of season 2 or something. I don't know. There's piles of Zombicide coming out, enough that we don't need to own it all, but we'll always own something.
We could own it all. It's also an option. Owning it all.
And the last game of the set.
And we couldn't do a video without including this monstrosity.
Kingdom Death Monster.
Are you sure this one's not going anywhere?
Not going anywhere.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll set it over here while you can describe why it's staying.
Because it's your favorite game of all time that got you into the hobby, that saved you from crumpling, from...
What is Kingdom Death, though?
It's a...
You played it. We've started a campaign.
I know. It's a campaign scenario-based game that you are fighting as survivors against monsters. We're playing the White Lion right now. We're in the process of defeating it and upgrading all of our gear and trying to have our settlement survive, because you have never won a game of this, even though it's your favorite game. Which is ironic, because I think that actually means it's a favorite game. I hadn't won a game of Zombicide till this week. And it's been one of my favorite games. So I think that brings something to the table.
It certainly helps. It doesn't hurt that Kingdom Death is a 60-hour-long campaign, and so there's a lot to dig into. But yeah, Katie, it's just never leaving. People have heard me talk about it. You wear that necklace daily now.
I wear that necklace daily.
It's a sterling silver...
face shard.
Yeah, stone shard.
Yeah, I wear...
It's called a founding stone.
It's a face shard.
So, there we have it. Let us know. Suggestions down below, games that you think might make our permanent list if we got them to the table.
There's a lot more that I wanted to put on this list.
No, there's not. We went downstairs and I went, give me games that you'll never leave.
No, so
and she looks around and she goes, I'm not even sure you or the dog are staying. How am I supposed to make decisions around games?
I don't like the term never. And so there's a lot of games that I want to not leave unsettled by Orange Nebula. It would be one that I really want on this list. There's a lot of games that we haven't gotten our own copy of. I've played a lot with Alex. Inish, Blood Rage, Sequades, Kemet, Chaos in the Old World. There's a lot of area control games that I don't ever want to leave, but I haven't gotten my own copy yet because I've had others to play.
Yeah.
So, on that note, these games are probably, maybe, possibly not leaving our collection. Oh, you're bringing up...
I'm going to give them quickly the one that she hasn't played, so we can't make it a us game. Russian Railroads. You cannot get a copy of this game nearly ever anymore. Very hard to get your hands on. New print run coming out that I actually want, which I don't think makes this old Grail one go away either, but it'll be nice to have the updated version. Really, really solid Euro game. We are progressing railroad tracks, and you've got this pressure point of every decision you make influences some other part of your track. Lovely economic, thinky puzzle. So it's on my list of things that I'll never leave because I bought it immediately after I played it with a friend.
You do that way too often.
I bought it immediately after playing with a friend, not as often as you'd imagine, with the knowledge and expectation that it was really hard to get your hands on too. And so it's one of those that I clinch thinking about letting it go because I don't know if I can easily get another one.
Yeah. I feel the same way about Zombicide, Black Plague. Yep. It is really hard to get a full copy of it right now. Cthulhu Death May Die is also another one. Bus doesn't count.
Bus is the anniversary edition. Yeah. You're not getting your hands on another copy of this. Not easily. You have 2
copies of it. You also have...
That's because it's really hard to get. Cthulhu Death May Die is one that we just, you can't really get your hands on. Spirit Island is accessible with the caveat that some of the modules we have and upgrades we have are extremely hard to get. Mind Clash, Cerebria, you're not getting a copy of that. Well, you might get a copy of it. You're not getting a deluxified painted mini copy of it.
Deluxified painted mini.
For Glory, a little bit more accessible. Reprints coming out. Aquatic was hard to get for about 6 or 7 months. I don't know if it'll resell out or not. Terraforming Mars, you're always going to have access to, but we've started promoting ours.
And we're going to deluxify it. I want all of those 3D tiles.
Yeah, so, and then Root, of course, is accessible. But I'd say over half of our collection are games that we're not going to get rid of because we're not going to get them back.
Yeah.
So, with that, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here.
Whatever the case.
Remember to do...
You like us when we go back and forth.
Whatever let's do it together, Neil. Let's ready?
Ready.
1, 2,
3.
Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you next time. Thank you. There was actually a lot of people in the comments that were like, the duo thing's really cool. It's badass. Yeah, there was 7.
Ha!
Yeah.
Ha!
I told them.
Ha!
But they all voted on my side of getting rid of Isle of Cats. It's really surprising.
No, you told me I won Isle of Cats.
No, they said Shira's right, but Isle of Cats has got to go. It's got to be cut out.
I'll go look at the comments right now.
No, they're all, don't go look at the comments. Trust me, they're all on the same page.
Yeah.
They are. Just believe me for once. Just trust me on this.
No, you are untrustworthy.
Okay, well.
I'm gonna find it.
Okay, no, I'll tell you the truth. It was like 90. It was like 90 comments on your site. It was a lot of. There's a lot of comments.
Yeah. I win.
You always win.
Shelf or sell.
That's not fair. You always win.
It's fine.
It really isn't.
It is.
It isn't fair at all.
Yes. It doesn't matter that you started this channel.
Okay.
I'm the better half here.
Yeah. Let's set up Kingdom Death. Let's go ahead and get started on a gameplay.
Back and forth is pleasing, but the joint version is better. Ha! Keep Isle of Cats. Sorry, gotta give it to Keep Isle of Cats.
Oof.
Shira for Prez, Isle of Cats. Team Shira, Keep Isle of Cats.
And these are the ones I haven't responded to yet. These are the ones that just popped up in the last hour.
I vote Shira gets to keep Isle of Cats and gets Project L. I would totally side with Shira were it not for Alex Co having it also. That being the case, call it oh no, that one's in your favor.
That wasn't my favorite. That was in my favor.
1 out of the most recent 5 is in your favor. It's a 20% ratio.
I'll see you later.
I love this.